In this video, we're going to be putting every ride at Animal Kingdom on a tier list from S as the best to F as the worst. Let's start at the center of the park with It's Tough to Be a Bug. This 4D stage show is built right underneath the Tree of Life and has some incredible theming as you make your way down to the theater. Once you're there though, there's not much that really stands out. There are some animatronics, but recently it's been hit or miss whether or not they'll work. As for the show itself, it's very strange. It tries to be educational, teaching kids that bugs play an important role in our environment, but it does that while being one of the scariest attractions Disney has ever built. I remember as a kid having to leave the theater after the spiders dropped from the ceiling. Mixed messaging aside, the show itself does feel a bit rushed and nothing too special compared to everything else this park has to offer. With all that in mind, I'd probably place this one in the C tier. Next up, let's head into the worst land at the park, Dinoland USA. The majority of this land is home to Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama, a fairground-themed area where our next attraction sits. Triceratops Spin is a basic spinning flat ride, similar to Dumbo over at the Magic Kingdom. While the ride itself looks nice, it doesn't do much of anything apart from that. You could say that's the case for the other spinning flat rides, but at least those have interesting environments surrounding guests that make them entertaining. This ride has Dino-Rama, which is nothing but concrete and fairground games. This ride, and this entire land for that matter, feel incredibly lazy, which is such a shame for a park with otherwise incredible theming. Overall, this has to be our one and only F tier. Luckily, Dinoland has one attraction that really stands out. Dinosaur is a fast-paced dark ride utilizing the same ride system as Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland in California. That ride system is awesome, with the vehicle just throwing you around and making the ride feel so much faster than it actually is. The theming is pretty good too. Admittedly, there's a lot of dead space, but the darkness works for what the ride is going for. Otherwise, the queue is a bit outdated, but part of what makes this ride so charming is how cheesy it is. While it's not nearly as good as Indiana Jones Adventure, Dinosaur is still a solid addition to Animal Kingdom. I won't miss the rest of Dinoland, but I will feel a bit sad when this inevitably closes. Let's put it in the B tier. Now, let's head out of Dinoland USA and into the mountains with Expedition Everest. This coaster looks daunting, with an impressive exterior facade that makes the ride feel truly massive. The ride itself is fun too, with some intense positive Gs each time you hit a turn. My one flaw with this ride is how little the layout does. Apart from the gimmick of going backwards, this ride doesn't do a whole lot as an actual roller coaster. For the most part, you're just going in circles. Don't get me wrong, this is still a great ride, but even compared to other Disney coasters, I just feel there's not much going on here. Regardless, the fantastic theming and intensity of the ride puts this one in the A tier for me. Close by is a ride I often forget about when visiting this park. Kali River Rapids is a water rafting ride that takes you through the natural environment of the Asia section of the park. Unlike other water raft rides though, I feel this one rarely gets guests wet. I have heard some people disagree with that take in the comments of my Disney World ranking video, so take my word with a grain of salt. Regardless, even compared to something like Popeye and Bluto's Bilge-Rat barges, the ride doesn't seem to be trying hard to get guests soaked. It's also not doing much in terms of theming, with a pretty barren environment surrounding guests throughout the ride. If it had great theming and wasn't a great water ride, I still would have liked it. If it was a great water ride but didn't have great theming, I would have liked that too. In the end, it's the worst of both worlds. A disappointing experience that earns a spot right in the D tier. Let's move on to what may be the crown jewel of Animal Kingdom, Kilimanjaro Safaris. This drive-through safari ride takes you through a sprawling environment to see real-life animals from across the world. That alone is fantastic, but when you pair that with the amazing theming that makes this environment seem open yet remain safe for guests, this attraction is one of my favorites in the 4 parks. It's essential to Animal Kingdom, proven by the amount of land it takes up. While I put Expedition Everest above this ride in my Walt Disney World ride rankings, I'm now reverting that decision by putting this in the S tier. It's truly something special. Our final land before concluding this tier list is Pandora, the World of Avatar, home to 2 attractions. The first of these attractions is Na'vi River Journey, a slow-moving boat ride with some incredible theming. In theming alone, this may just be the best ride in the park. The neon lights and use of projection mapping creates a stunning environment that's a sight to behold. However, the actual ride brings it down a bit. It's fine enough as a slow-moving boat ride, but it feels so compact and short that it's over before it really begins. I think some sort of storyline or additional scenes would have gone a long way in making this ride feel complete. As it stands though, this feels like half a ride. A very good half, but half nonetheless. That puts it right in the C tier. Finally, let's talk about the star attraction at Pandora, Avatar: Flight of Passage. This flying theater is the best of its kind, taking the concept of Soarin' and bringing it to the next level. The 3D visuals are immersive in and of itself, but the ride vehicle is truly where this ride shines. There are cushions that breathe underneath you, and wind blows in your face as you soar through the skies of Pandora. The queue is also incredibly impressive, taking you through plenty of immersive yet varied environments. Even though I'm usually not a fan of screen-based rides, there's no denying that this one is an S tier. And with that, here's the final tier list. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the tier list of the next 3 parks, and check out this video to see if Walt Disney World is better than Universal Orlando. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.